I already know that. We have 4. You're actually going to be at the bottom. 2 will put you there. 3 there. And there. There we go. Initial prices are just whatever's the most scarce is the highest. Which makes sense. There we go. Right. Shoop. And we are just
Shoop,
going
there
to...
it is.
Indeed. We're just gonna stuff the rest of these magically behind the box.
I'll keep my hand there just so I don't send them all flying on the floor.
All right. We're gonna hide that away down there.
All right, so.
And then I think we're pretty much ready to go.
All right, here we go.
All right.
I'm just gonna wait to make sure he's paying attention.
Yep.
We're good. All right, let's go. Hi, my name is Beth Hiley here for Board Game Geek TV at Gen Con 2014. I'm sitting down with Leif Staystall of Lamplight Games. How are you doing this morning?
Quite well, thank you. How are you?
I know, it's nice to hear that on a Sunday too when all of us are a little... You have brought us Nautilus Industries, which there is a whole second tagline here.
Exploit the bounties of the sea.
I was having trouble reading exploit when the box was about 3 inches from my nose. All right, so Nautilus Industries.
All right.
What do we do?
It's
What do we do? How do we win? What's going on?
It's all about the monies in the end. It's a game set shortly after Nemo disappears. The Nautilus falls into evil corporate hands.
Oh.
I know, and they begin mass production and send them out to exploit all the riches of the sea.
Oh.
You play one of these evil people, of course.
Okay, never mind.
Yep. No, it's all good. It's all good because you're evil.
All right.
Yeah, that makes the bad things good. So, you've got a fleet of mining subs, and the way it works is there's 3 actions. There's an action phase, a market phase, and then an upkeep phase every turn with a little bit of cleanup.
Which I notice is very nicely listed here on my little player aid.
Yeah. It's a player board, player aid.
Almost as if you planned it that way.
Kind of. We almost did.
Almost.
Almost. So, it's 3 actions all the way around the table, right? So, first person, second, everyone takes an action, then they take their second, they take their third, and then we do a market phase.
All right, easy enough.
Right. Easy enough. So, for an action, you can send one of your subs out to mine, you place them somewhere on the board, and it's kind of worker placement.
It's not a board, it's the sea floor.
It is on the sea floor, yes. Sorry. You send them out to one of the designated areas of the sea floor where all sorts of cool things have been spotted. So I've just sent myself out to grab some nitronium. You can go to anyone. When a sub returns, which they don't till the market phase, they'll bring back 2 resources of whatever type they're out to mine. So if I send him here, he'll still only get 2.
2 out of the 3 possible iron that are sitting there.
And if I send him here, he'll only bring back 1 beryllium, because
there's only 1 there.
There's only 1 there. The second thing you can do is you can up your warehouse capacity. It starts at 1 and goes all the way up to 6, strangely enough. And that just takes an action. That's how many resources you can store without having to sell them off to the market. The third thing you can do is you can mess around a bit with the surveys. So you can move a cube, a resource, from one zone to another. So if I was over here and you were over here, actually no, over here, there we go. That's the way it works better. On your turn, you could zip this gold in to help yourself, and at the same time, kick a little nitronium over, because you got to move something over, which, for your next action, maybe you'll go get a little nitronium for yourself. The fourth option is you can change the order of the things you're going to get to market. You sort of pay a little bit to the dock workers, a little coffee money, you know.
Nudge, nudge, yeah.
Nudge, nudge. Here's some coffee money, guys, so you'll be awake when the ships come in from that section of the seafloor. So you just go like that, and they'll come in the other order.
Okay.
Stuff can only be swapped once per round. The number of tiles that are put out is equal to the number of players. Right now there's just 2 of us, so we're set up for a 2-player game. It scales perfectly well all the way from 2 to 6.
Which was going to be one of my questions later, so thank you for answering that.
Yeah, it plays about 90 minutes. No matter sort of what the player count, it's always in around 90 minutes. Yeah.
So what happens with the market phase?
Okay,
So now
that
we've
is a good thing.
gone collecting.
Oh, there's
we've
one last thing you can do. You can purchase company stocks, which, as you can see,
are beautiful.
are pretty amazing. Down in the corner is how much they cost, and this is how many shares you get of said company. You don't have to buy the first one. You can buy whichever one you have money for, and they're worth whatever the stock value is times number of shares at the end of the game. So in the market phase, what happens is, if I'm out here, maybe you're grabbing some iron. Here, we'll say you upped your warehouse as well. That would probably be wise if you're grabbing iron. So we now we do one tile at a time. So when we do this one, my guy comes back with a little nitronium, and you come back with a little iron.
How many sounds end up happening?
There's a bunch of sound effects that often happen.
Because I had to catch myself from doing that as you were moving your sub back. So
lower and raised periscope are also good lines. So after everybody gets their stuff, you then have, it goes around in player order. You can hold or sell the resources you have that you just picked up plus what's in your warehouse. So when you sell for whatever the current market value is. I've got 2 of these. I only have a warehouse of 1. Unfortunately for me, nitronium isn't worth much at the moment, but if I'm going, I'm just going to sell them both, I think. So I'm going to sell both. I'll make 6 whole undersea dollars for myself.
Based on the fact that it says that they're 3 each.
Times 2, yeah.
Got it.
Nice, easy, simple math. For you, I'd say you probably want to store those in your 2 warehouse.
Given the iron is only selling at 2
exactly.
apiece, yeah, and I have the ability to store both.
2 in your warehouse, perfect. So, what happens then is everything that gets sold, demand has been met, it's fulfilled. All the people at the docks slavering, waiting for that nitronium, have got their fix. In fact, they got 2 of it. So, it'll move down 1, 2. Everything else, there's still demand, people want it, so it moves up by 1. Super simple.
And nicely denoted there as well.
There's reminders all over the place. And as well, the other thing this does is there's all these companies that have started up. So every company, right, is color-coded. Aranax is with nitronium, right? Same color. So they've started up to harness and monetize this nitronium you're bringing in. So every time you bring stuff in, they can expand their business, they can set up new refineries, new shops, new processing plants, whatever, right? So they move up on the stock chart, a number of spaces equal to how many cubes were just brought in.
All right.
Later on, when they reach here, they'll move 1 less. They've already got a bunch of overhead, a bunch of stuff already set up. You bringing in nitronium doesn't mean they're instantly going to expand facilities. It's more well, we need some of this just to power the stuff we got, and the rest, yeah, we'll build that refinery in India we were thinking about. And eventually it's -2, right? So as things get higher, they clock up slower. So if we were doing the next tile, right? And that is it for that first tile.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
then we do the next one.
On that tile.
Yeah. And whatever. I don't know.
What would be the benefit of having one tile go before the other one? Does the value track down immediately?
It tracks down, yes. In between resolving tiles, it tracks down.
So okay, there's that.
We're getting the nitronium from here, right? Or say, for example, there's 2 iron here that I was going to take. Maybe you would have sold it, right? If iron was up here, you might have sold your 2 and dropped it down to 6, so that when I get mine, it's less money for me.
And I'm assuming, let's say, turns down the line, if I had stuff that I was just sitting on, I could choose to sell it at that time when the price was
Exactly.
optimal.
If you had that 2 iron in your warehouse, plus you picked up this extra 2, you can drop all 4 at once. So it can lead to some big drops and swings in the market.
All right, so that's the end of the market phase. And then upkeep, I'm guessing we have a little secret stash of gems back here, which are supposed to be in a bag that
I forgot at the booth.
All right, fair enough. So I'm guessing that, so we would have a random pull to reseed the
Exactly. We just pull out about 5 per place, set them up. Sort of the survey teams that were sent out bring back results that this is what we found right now. And one more. And then first player marker just moves over, and there's another action round.
Easy enough. And what triggers the end of the game?
The end of the game is when one of the stocks makes it to ×10. As soon as that happens, you finish that market phase. Every price freezes, won't change anymore. Everybody else just gathers what resources they would gather for the rest of that round, sells them off at market value, and then you count up your share value in stocks plus cash on hand, and whoever has the most wins.
Yeah, and obviously the value of the stock depends on how far up you march up that chart. Easy enough.
Yeah.
Well, was there any particular inspiration that brought on the sort of post-Nemo theme? Or?
It just kind of worked with whole underwater mining. It's sort of, well, right, like when you send it out, you don't bring stuff back right away. Just like in that age, right, if you were to send out a sub, you really have no way to communicate with them. You're sending them out to get that beryllium. If somebody happens to get there and screw you over before then, there's not a lot you can do, right? If somebody messes with it and you were told there was going to be more there, but you get there and the sonar beacon isn't there, what are you going to do?
Well, Leif, I really appreciate you bringing by Nautilus Industries, Exploit the Bounties of the Sea.
That's right. It's up on Kickstarter right now, so
Excellent.
Be sure to check it out.
And good luck with the final day of the show.
Oh, thanks a lot.
No problem.